I feel like the professors here do have to accept that we can multitask very well and that we do at all times. And so if they try and, restrict us from doing it, it's almost unfair because we are completely capable, moving in between lecture and other things and just keeping track of the many things that are going on in our lives.
No one's actually measured whether these kids are as successful at multitasking as they claim to be. But out in California, a respected research lab is studying their counterparts on the Stanford campus in Palo Alto.
They understand the research, they're smart kids, but they seem utterly convinced it doesn't apply to them. We want to study what's really going on in the brain. The fMRI studies we're going to be seeing. But when it comes to what parts of the brain, we know nothing. These are really the first studies of brain imaging of multitaskers versus non-multitaskers. So anything we discover here is new, because we know zero. Now, in this lab here, we're researching speaking on the cell phone while driving.
Tell me about a time when you had to deal with a difficult person.
You walk around the world and you see people multitasking. They're playing games and they're reading email and they're on Facebook, etc. Yet classic psychology says that's impossible. No one can do that. In general, our brains can't do two things at once. And we want to ask the question, how do they do it? Do they have some secret ingredient, some special ability that psychologists had no idea about, or what's going on? You guys were chosen because you're very high chronic multitaskers, and what that
NAS allowed us to film one of his studies, conducted on a group of carefully chosen students.
On a college campus, most kids are doing two things at once, maybe three things at once. These are kids who are doing 5, 6, or more things at once all the time.
The experiment looks simple. Identify numbers as odd or even, letters as vowels or consonants. But it's rife with traps in the form of distractions. NAS is testing how quickly these kids can switch between tasks without losing their focus.
I'm pretty much constantly texting, and whenever I study, I have my laptop out and listening to
Brian
music.
is a junior.
I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm checking my email, nonstop refreshing the page, I'm on Facebook chat.
He's pretty confident that his multitasking is successful.
So that I can always stay connected.
So you think you're effective?
I think so.
Okay.
But his results, like others NAS has tested, suggested otherwise.
What we found was that you're actually significantly slower when you're switching than when you're doing kind of the same task consistently.
Virtually all multitaskers think they are brilliant at multitasking. And one of the big discoveries is, you know what, you're really lousy at it. It turns out multitaskers are terrible at every aspect of multitasking. They get distracted constantly. Their memory is very disorganized. Recent work we've done suggests they're worse at analytic reasoning. We worry that it may be creating people who are unable to think well and clearly.